Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Whatever.
Good
I'm
morning, everybody. I'm Lawrence Winterman, and Dana Dubois is going to talk about one of her best articles today. So it's a very exciting special edition, and it's very topical and timely, too.
Thank you, Lawrence. It is, and it's also just a tale as old as time. To
Yes,
get all
a
Beauty and the
song as
Beast.
old as rhyme,
Yes,
Beauty and the Beast.
it is actually Beauty and the Beast. It's
Wait, I don't
14.
like this because then you're the beast, and I don't think that's
No,
fair. Or,
no.
or the male gaze is the beast.
The male gaze is the beast.
Ooh, look at me actually able to understand metaphor.
Oh my God, I'm so proud of you, Lawrence. Have you worked hard on that for a long time?
A very long time. Yes, I
Oh, look at
finally.
all these people coming in. Getting the chat going. Hang
It's
on,
so exciting.
I'm opening up I now that I have you on my big screen over here, Lawrence, I love the shirt even more because of the cursive.
Yes, well, I found a font that mimics the font of the actual Constitution and Declaration, and I used that font to make the shirt. The shirt, for those who have just joined, says "Congress, do your motherfucking job." Available on Alpaca Lunch, where all of your finest protest shirts are available.
Alpacalunch.com. There we go. I just put I didn't quite put the link in there, but I put what
Yeah,
the
yeah,
URL is in there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. People can figure it out.
My dog is really riled up this morning, so if you hear barking, man, just ignore it. Some
What are
mornings
you
are
gonna
like,
do? What are you gonna do about that dog?
what are you gonna do? Hola, Mr. Troy Ford. Nice to see you.
Oh, great to see. Okay, can I take a minute to say Mr. Troy Ford was on our show about a month ago, right before the release of his book Lamb, and I pre-ordered the book. I finally had a chance to pick it up and read it over the course of the last week, and this past weekend. Holy fucking shit! It is so good. It is really, really good. I mean, not like I don't mean to express surprise like Troy. I didn't, I can't believe you wrote a good book. I mean, it is powerful and moving.
I'm
I
getting you.
loved the characters. I absolutely came away with a crush on Lamb. Yeah, like as a Gen X gay dude, I felt like I knew these people, and I felt like I felt like I went to school with them. I felt like I absolutely understood the milieu that they were living in. And well done, Mr. Troy Ford. Everyone should go check it out. It is a great read, and you'll probably cry at the end, like I did. So there you go.
I love a good cry from a book.
Me too.
Congratulations, Mr. Troy Ford, on the success of your book. You're a living doll, Lawrence. Thank you. Um, I can only imagine what it must feel like I'm going to say to birth a book. It must feel like giving birth, that like your has come to life, and then to hear such high praise. So congratulations. I'm really excited for you. I gotta get my hands on that though. Lawrence, I gotta tell you, I have not been reading much lately other than articles online.
Yes.
I do have Diane Wilder's book arriving, I think today or tomorrow. She was on our show last week. So, I'm sorry, Diane Gertz. She's writing it under her real given name, well, married name. Her legal name, let's just say. I'm excited to get that one. I don't know why my dog is freaking out. Can you please be quiet? I don't have any you know what's here today. Do you
So
mind?
I've got Diane's book as well. And you know me, I don't normally read in actual physical book form. I tend to
Yeah.
read things on my phone and Kindle, but I actually ordered a paperback version of Diane's book, and it's sitting on my nightstand, literally next in line to be
Oh,
read.
good.
So, yes.
And I will be flying tomorrow, very, very early. I'm going on a trip, so I will not be here the next couple of days. We have some fabulous guests joining Lawrence while I'm out, but maybe I'll read on the plane. Although realistically, yeah, my work manager was already like, we'll reimburse you if you get if you work on the plane and get the Wi-Fi. And I was like, yes, I understand how airplanes and company expense reports work. So that's probably
And
what
also, I'm on a fucking plane. Don't make me be the person who pulls out a laptop on the plane.
it's like this, right? Like elbows have no space.
Yes, like I'm, broad-shouldered and big bellied enough that a plane seat is already not comfortable for me, and trying to like then type on my laptop on a plane seat, especially if the person in front of you is reclining, like just fuck that noise. I'm not. It's not my office. I don't have to work there.
Yeah, I get it. I'm hoping to do some writing and editing while I'm on the plane, like for fun, but I don't know what will happen. Can you please come here and let me just pick you up because you're driving me crazy?
Fusins just said snaky snakes on a plane. Yeah, I am tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully,
Hang on.
Dana, there will be no snakes on your plane.
Oh, I hope not. I'm not a fan of snakes. Though it would be fun to start quoting the film. Not that I've seen it, but I've seen the clips enough about the motherfucking snakes on the motherfucking plane. Okay, what are you doing? Hang on one second. I'm just gonna go grab this little dog.
And your little dog, too.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm gonna be over here for a second. What are you doing? Why are you being so rowdy? What? What's going on?
Wendy says Samuel Jackson would like a word. I mean, I don't think it's a bad word. I mean, unless it's the word fucking. But I mean, he's tired of the motherfucking snakes on the motherfucking plane too. So, you know, tell him to step back.
Hi.
Hi, Kira.
Kira got groomed this weekend, so she's exceptionally gorgeous.
Exceptionally cute and not quite as stinky as perhaps sometimes she is.
Yeah, she's still a little stinky, don't get me wrong. Okay, maybe she'll just chill here in my lap. We will see. Um, but the
Hey, Kat.
story
Kat says she's hearing another live in the background. I don't think it's coming from either one of us. It is possible to like have two browser windows open and be playing two different lives at the same time. Have done, and yeah, so that could be what's going on.
yeah, definitely, not over here. The only noise is coming from this little beast in my lap. Um, okay, she's chilling out now. Do you just wanna hang out on the live? Do you wanna meet the whatevers? I think she does. I think she does.
I
Um,
Clearly she's our mascot. She is our whatever's mascot.
yes, she
Not
and
to be
Drake.
confused with Donald Trump's whatevers, which are actually the Washington Commanders, and not
Oh
the
my
Red.
god. Oh my god.
Fuck
That
you, Donald Trump.
1,000 times. Yes, with that put L Lawrence, we'll talk about this more on Fucked Up Friday, I'm sure, but the level of, like, "Look over there! Look over there!" coming out of the administration, the regime this week is, like, hilarious, and coming through his truths and his Twitters or whatever, like, "Oh, we should rename all the sports teams." Shush.
Right.
Epstein files.
Seriously, let's release the Epstein files, you fucking lying motherfucker.
Yeah, it is such look over their politics that, like, it's so overt, like, anyone who's ever parented should know exactly what's happening. Like, "We see you, sweetie. Not you're not sweet, but we see what you're doing," and it's I don't know, I hope it's not working, it's not working for any of us. "Oh, did you release something about MLK that's adorable?
Right.
Stop what you're doing."
Oh, Lena's so sweet. Lena says, "So ein wirklich liebes und ehrliches Publikum." What a uh, loving, lovely, and honest, right? Audience, publicum, group, people.
I thought I looked back over at the chat.
That is very sweet. Thanks, Lena. We're really happy that you're here.
And people told you not to take German in high school, Lawrence. You'll never use it in real
Right,
life.
right.
Thank you, Lena.
Yes, Lena, es tut mir leid, mein Deutsch ist nicht so gut, und mein Vokabeln ist sehr schlecht.
Deutsch ist eine schwere Sprache. That's about all I can say, but
Deutsch ist deine schwere Sprache, ja.
yeah, yeah. Um, mm. Lawrence, shall we talk about this story? Because I'm
Wendy's
ready.
now saying it's all fun and games here every day.
Oh, Wendy, you polyglot, you.
Right.
Um,
Next she's gonna say something to us in Hebrew, as if we read Hebrew.
yes, as if, and then Greek after that, which that will be all Greek to all of us. Let me grab this link. The dog is now like giving me a
Oh,
back.
your article? I've got it right here.
Okay, why don't you put it in the chat?
I
Um,
will. Hey, I'm gonna I don't think you will be upset with this.
oh,
So I was rereading it for like the fourth time, and it really is, I think, one of your best pieces. It is a great example of your writing. I think you should read the whole thing. And I know that it's going to take time to do that because it's not a short article, but I think it's worth it. And maybe if we like kick that off now,
mhm.
we'll then have enough time to actually have a conversation about it still at the end. But I kept trying to like find a part of it that I thought you should read, and I was like, oh well, this is too good to not read, and this is too good to not read. So
Oh,
um,
Lawrence, I'm honored. Um, I would love to read the whole thing. Medium tells you its stories in read time. So this is a 10-minute read. And we have about 47 minutes. So I think we'll be okay. Um, I'm inclined to agree with you that I had decided which part I was going to read, but I would love to read the full thing if you all will indulge me. I do not have Lawrence's mellifluous reading voice that will soothe you, but I'll try to read it in my most ASMR voice possible. Um, except that the subject of this one doesn't really uh, go to like a calm, soothing space. Um, Before I start, if you'll indulge me just a moment of the backstory on this article,
yeah,
that's a little bit of a forward story. Um, this is my most successful story ever on Medium. It is still getting traffic. It's earned a crazy amount of money in my mind. And it has had 150 comments as of this reading and about, I forget, 6,000 likes. Yeah, 6,000 likes on Medium. Most of the comments are supportive and from women saying, "Oh my god, yes." This was one of the ones that crossed over though, and I got a lot from men of, being very upset with me. I was accused of me being the one sexualizing my 16-year-old. I've been accused of being an old, bitter hag. Um, but I know that you all will hear this story with more nuance than the haters. And the other thing to know is I started it last year. I published it in November. I finally got finished it November, but I intentionally left off what could have been the ending, which was the election, right? This is a story. It's called Middle-Aged Men Keep Ogling My 16-Year-Old. And it is about the subhead is A Gen X Mom Explores Sexuality, Beauty, Aging, and Modern Day Feminism in an Era of Your Body, My Choice. Do you remember when that
oh yes,
phrase
oh
was
as if we could forget.
everywhere?
It wasn't really all that long ago when you think about
Yes. Remember back in the olden times when someone said that on the internet and we were all horrified?
it. Right.
So this
Right.
story
And then, Trump was reinaugurated, and we have been perpetually horrified ever since. Yes.
exactly. And so the story as I'm about to read it doesn't mention the Trump regime or any implications there for women. But as we have our conversation, I do want to bring this up because I think it's the epilogue of the story. As I'm reading it, like keep in the back of your mind, and then what do you do when um, someone who is a clear example of this kind of offense at the most dangerous level is reelected to be the most powerful man in the world? And then how do you raise your daughters, right? When you know there are literally no consequences for taking these kinds of actions. Um, yeah, I'm going to jump in and start reading it. Sorry, I'm just adjusting a little bit with the dog on my lap. Um, okay, I'm not going to look at the chat. I'm just going to read. So keep track of any questions that may come in, Lawrence. And here is my story. Middle-aged men keep ogling my 16-year-old. A Gen X mom explores sexuality, beauty, aging, and modern-day feminism in an era of your body, my choice. Let's scroll. This way, Mom, shouts my eldest daughter, carving a path through the throng gathered for the Fremont Solstice Parade. The parade is a wacky, wondrous annual tradition in our city, a counter-capitalism march through a once bohemian neighborhood, and it always kicks off the same way, the riding of the naked cyclists. Scads of people of all ages, sizes, and genders, mostly decked out in elaborate body paint and little to nothing else, ride up and down the parade route, leaving little to the imagination. The event isn't sexual, just celebratory. Families bring their kids, and we all pack together and cheer for the artistry and exhibitionism of it all to celebrate the start of summer. So my youngest and I pick up the pace and try to keep up with her. None of us want to miss a moment of the ride. As we pass a cafe, I notice a man and I ingest him in a flash. He's my age. He's kind of cute. He's looking. No, wait, he's leering. He's leering at my daughter, not me. As we walk past him, I catch his eye in that millisecond, glancing from her to him and back with a glare I hope wordlessly conveys a message. Knock it off, leering man. You're staring at a child. My child. He likely didn't notice me at all, let alone my daggers. I noticed this micro-leer moment because I've experienced this scenario countless times since my eldest hit puberty at age 11 and escalating as she's matured into the knockout she is at 16. It's disconcerting, it's jarring, it's just weird. And also, it's completely commonplace. My 16-year-old daughter is stunning. While her facial features favor mine, she's far prettier, and she's inherited her dad's long, lanky frame. And unlike me, she knows how to style her hair, apply makeup, and invest in skincare. Maybe the beauty product gene skips a generation? Combine all that with her Gen Z propensity for tiny tank tops and ultra low-ride baggy pants, and you've got the idea. She's gorgeous, she's confident, and she knows it. And really, why shouldn't she? I've been pondering this question and many others for ages, practically since our male obstetrician proclaimed, "Those are labial folds," during her 20-week ultrasound. Yes, the very first time a man responded to my daughter, he commented on her genitals. A simple, "It's a girl," would have sufficed. The questions pound my brain as we navigate our way through the crowd. How can I embolden my daughters to own their beauty and move through the world with confidence, while also instilling a sense of caution about how men may respond to their bodies? How does it feel that my male peers increasingly see my underage daughters as sexual beings, but not me? How should I respond when I see my daughter objectified? Did she even notice what just transpired? In the absence of answers and the rush of the moment, I don't respond to leering man. I feel complacent, but also perhaps my default path of benign neglect may be the best response. If I know anything at all, it's that as women, we have to choose our battles. I'm not a fan of modern-day hypersexual feminism, or what I like to call WAP feminism. Are you leaving? And there goes my daughter. Bye, sweetie. Have a good day. Okay, let me start this section again. I'm not a fan of modern-day hypersexual feminism, or what I like to call WAP feminism. My eldest was 12 when Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion released WAP. And sure, one could argue how two women boldly rapping about their soaked genitalia is an act of feminist power. To my Gen X sensibilities, however, it's playing into the patriarchy, a song and subsequent culture fully intended for the male gaze, even as women proclaim their pussy power. Also, I didn't love how my daughters could recite all the lyrics when they were still in grade school. I didn't forbid them from listening. Nothing short of taking their phones and friends away could have done that. And while I would have considered the former, the latter was out of the question. I couldn't have fought it if I tried, so I didn't. I see this flavor of feminism permeating the girl power messages my daughters have heard their whole lives. Girls rule. Girls can do anything. These slogans dominated the t-shirts in the little girls section at Target. But then so did the short shorts with the 1-inch inseams, starting at a shockingly young age. Now as teens, their tank tops are skimpy, their midriffs exposed. Girls can be and look like whatever they want, and yet so many of them opt to look exactly as the male gaze wants them to, only this time in the name of feminism. I find it equal parts confounding and expected, and complicated to parent. That shirt is not school appropriate, I told my eldest a few years back, and calling it a shirt was a stretch as she tried to leave the house for middle school in essentially a sock tied around her chest. Mom, you're slut-shaming me, she protested. You're part of the patriarchy. I inwardly rolled my eyes at this absurdity. I don't see fashion as a one-way door, so I tend to be pretty permissive about what my kids choose to wear. I recognize she's safe at her school, but in 8th grade, my child wasn't allowed to expose her midriff at school, and she knew it. Those were the rules, and she was challenging them. I stood my ground. The alleged patriarchy be damned. I am the matriarchy. I'm not here to shame my child or to try to squelch her sense of style or expression, but I am here to teach her about respect, propriety, and boundaries, 3 skills she'll need in order to move through the world safely. That's my job as her mom. There may be some whores in this house, but they're still going to show up in appropriate attire for middle school. Go change your shirt, I answered dryly. I understand why my daughter wants to flaunt what she's got. I can only imagine how it feels to live in a body that aligns with current beauty standards, as hers does, and never worry about one's weight or wonder if one can fit into the latest styles. My child knows this sort of insouciant body beauty. She's not an athlete. She doesn't diet. She eats with a hunger that awes me, always has. This child relishes good food and devours it with life-giving abandon. Honestly, I'm grateful. I'd like to think her body confidence and eating inhibition comes at least in part from me, from how I've consciously parented her. But her body shape does not. Here I'm thankful she takes after her father. Turns out my ectomorphic taste in men comes with perks for our 2 long, lanky, lean daughters. They're graced with a musician's long fingers, legs for days, and not an ounce of extra body fat between them. My eldest is a perfect size Brandy Melville, a size 25 jeans on a day when the 24s are sold out. They're lucky for this, I think, as I witness the lecherous leers in their directions and recall my younger days when I was more likely to draw unwanted male attention. I'm not so sure. Is it best to walk through the world aligned to a body beauty standard, or is it easier to stay out of that spotlight and all the negative impact it can bring? I've always considered myself to be a niche taste in terms of my attractiveness. If your thing is feisty, curvaceous redheads with cat-eye glasses and strong opinions, well then, you're in luck. If not, then I'm probably not your cup of tea. And that's okay. I tend to be drawn to odd men as well, and when stars align and 2 oddball people find one another and click, that's a special sort of magic. I've had an easier time navigating aging than many. Since my appearance falls outside typical beauty standards, I have less to lose as I age and become less visible to men. I'd like to think my offbeat looks have made me more resilient and enabled me to focus on growing my intellect, interests, and other pursuits outside of my physicality. I've long tried to instill this in my daughters as well, that they are far more than their appearances. And yet, observing one's sexual appeal diminish as one's daughter's blossoms is a strange sort of ache. It's a relief to me to no longer draw the menacing male gaze, but it's a sorrow to age out of desirability. It's a heartache to recognize what doors are closing or have already shut. It's a guilt to feel so conflicted, and it's a constant worry as a mother. It's hard to encapsulate the turmoil of emotions that comes with passing the leering baton. Watching middle-aged men ogle my daughter fills me with rage. How dare they stare with such abandon at a child? How do we live in a world where this is so accepted? Watching middle-aged men ogle my daughter fills me with indignation. Why does a 50-something man see a 50-something woman and a teenage girl and see the child as the sexual being, not his peer? Watching middle-aged men ogle my daughter fills me with pride. Look at the way she holds her head up. Look how she moves through the world like she knows every ounce of her worth. It's so much more than her physical beauty, the way my eldest takes up space and owns it without hesitation or fear. But I know fear. Watching men ogle my daughter fills me with it. I see the possible consequences of what can come next when things don't stop with silent stares. I know how vulnerable she is, as all women are. My daughter thinks she knows the potential consequences of their stares, but from my perch of my lived experience, I know she doesn't, and I hope she never will. As I consider those possible consequences, I wish I'd lashed out at leering man. Suddenly, I want to obliterate him, to call him out in the most unutterable way possible. I want to protect her, to place her out of range of his eyes and every other body part, of all the predatory male eyes and body parts she may ever encounter. I want to take it all out on him. But mostly, I want to change the way the world works for her. But I can't do that. With our recent election and the onslaught of your body, my choice, raging misogynists it's emboldened, I recognize how the world she's inheriting is a perilous one. I can't change that in any way. For now, I can only follow her lead across the crowd toward the parade. We find our friends, who've thankfully saved a spot for us on the curb with a front and center view, and plunk down just as the naked cyclists begin their ride. The artistry is incredible. A giant crow looms over the crowd and buddies up to Darth Vader. Thing 1 and Thing 2 ride past on matching bikes. And my personal favorite, a cyclist costumed as Chapel Roan zooms by, waving and lip-syncing alongside her friend dressed as a pink pony. I smile as I watch the painted private parts zip by, colorful and strange. I can't think of a better way to show, not tell my kids about body positivity, how bodies come in all shapes and sizes, and how nudity can be joyous when shared consensually. They can see how it's okay to gaze at bodies with wonder, humor, appreciation, and good intent. I needed to see that too. It emboldens me to check in with my daughter. Did you see that guy totally checking you out earlier? I ask her, keeping it light but watching for her reaction. She doesn't look away from the cyclist as she responds, "That old dude by the cafe?" "Yep, that one." She rolls her eyes toward me. "Whatever, he was like your age," she replies, indifferent. Then she rummages in her bag, drags out a mirror and her cosmetics, and takes a look at her reflection. Ugh, my makeup is already a mess. Now she's dismayed, her smudged eyeliner making far more of an impact than some old dude ever could. The male gaze will always be there, flirting, threatening, and interrupting our freedom to move through the world without fear. It's a tale as old as time, a legacy to be passed from mother to daughter ad infinitum. My daughter totally knows this and understands why men stare at her with a composure beyond her years. I've prepared my child to be mindful of safety. I've taught her not to lead with the male gaze when making decisions about how to present her own body. We've had frank conversations about how men respond to her based on her appearance, and I've allowed her to test and learn how she wants to show up in the world within limits, like classrooms. I hope it's been enough. A few months later, a few weeks after the presidential election, I check in with my daughter again. As she opens the refrigerator door for a snack, I ask how she feels now coming of age in the era of your body, my choice. She turns to look at me like I'm insane. How do you think it makes me feel? Well, yeah, I answer. But I mean, how do you think it will impact you? How do you think you will change your actions as a result? She retorts without hesitation. Why would I change my actions? She grabs a pomegranate and shuts the fridge door. As she grabs a cutting board and knife and begins to extract the seeds, my mind wanders back to that sunny solstice day as my eldest trailblazed us through the crowd. This way, Mom, she calls to me. Oh gosh, I'm going to cry. I'll always be trying to keep up with her. And Finn. Oh, wait, I can't hear you now.
Because I muted myself. I
Okay.
said amazing. It's such a powerful piece.
Thank
Um,
you.
I uh, so you should know, Dana. While you were reading, we had a real life example here in the chat. That asshole John Saxon, who I blocked, was able to join today because I think possibly you haven't blocked him yet, and because you own the
Oh,
live, he was able to join. And so we kicked it. We told him he's not welcome here, and if he's still listening, fuck you, John Saxon, get the fuck out of here. I swear to God, I will fly down to Australia and kick your motherfucking ass for harassing our people. Um, but
oh my
it was
gosh.
an eerie sort of synchronicity that he should try to join the chat at the same time you're reading about the male gaze and men leering it at your kid and just the things that women have to put up with in our society, in real life and here online as well.
Wow,
Um,
I'm scanning back up.
yeah, it's a bit far up.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Wow, I don't wanna get distracted from this conversation, but
Yeah.
sorry,
Actually,
I
if
will
you
block
if
it.
you click on his name, it'll take you right to his profile, and then you click on the ellipsis and block him, and you can block him
Yeah,
right
yeah.
away. So if he's still lingering, you'll kick him out.
Okay. Um, wow, Wendy is saying, "Do not get me started on that motherfucker." Okay, we had, uh I did not know he's harassed a lot of folks from this group. Okay.
Yeah,
Apologies, we did not know
Caitlin and
sooner.
Lena, and yeah, other people as well. So they talked about yeah,
Wow,
um,
the guy with the non-binary daughter who we had that whole
yes,
talk with, okay, well,
yeah, the one who kind of posed here. It's interesting because when he first posed here, the question seemed weird enough to me, like I've got a queer kid and I accept her and she's mad at me because I accept her. I
mhm,
felt like we were being toyed with. And
yeah,
regardless of whether that story is true or not, he came here pretending to have an issue that he wanted advice with. And we
okay.
treated him very kindly. And he has repaid us with sexually harassing, people that we love and care about here. So fuck that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I remember on that live, that was when I was in Florida, and he was like, "You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful." I think he might have messaged me after too, I don't even remember, but okay. Um, yeah, well, fitting that this happens during a story about middle-aged men harassing, in this case, young women. Um, yeah, Elaine, the mean old feminist. I love your username, Elaine. It makes me really pissed that John Saxton came in and said things to him about his daughter being a lesbian, trying to comfort him since I thought he was upset, and then find out he's a perv. Yeah, that's
Yep.
that is not cool uh, at all, not at all. Um, Nor is so a lot of the negative feedback that I got about this story, which I'm happy to say, have I gotten any on Substack yet? I don't think I have. It's a new story, so I'm reading through the comments here, and they are from parents and women who are all empathizing. A lot of the meaner comments I got were like, "You're overreacting. It's normal for men to look at women, and 16-year-olds look like women." And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the chat of being challenged. What do you It's normal to look at beauty, and young women are beautiful.
I
'Cause
yeah, this makes me insane, right? And I've heard this, it's very topical because I've heard this strain of thought, right? Recently, people, who are like, oh, but like the whole Epstein thing, like they were girls, sure, but it's South Florida, and it's natural for young women to go around in bikinis in South Florida. I'm like, fuck that. Like it's removing any responsibility from men whatsoever. Like an adult man absolutely understands when a girl is still a girl and not yet a woman. And I don't care if anyone fucking talks about, the genetic desire to pass on your your seed to the, most young fertile thing you can, like, fuck that shit. It's like we don't live in a civilization and a society where we can acknowledge that, women are absolutely equal in our society in terms of their rights and their bodily autonomy, and that men have absolutely no responsibility or ability to control their urges. Like, just fuck that to fucking shit.
Fuck, that's a fucking shit T-shirt, Lauren. Note it
Yeah, there you
down.
go. It's a new alpaca lunch t-shirt, everybody. Fuck that
Fuck,
to
that's a
fucking shit.
fucking shit. It applies to everything. Um, I will say this, Lawrence, like, it is natural to look, and in particular when, the WAP feminism that gets mentioned earlier, these young women are walking around in provocative outfits, right? They're beautiful. Um, it is possible to look at something without objectifying it and that them. I mean, it or them. I'm thinking about, like, in my mind, I'm like, it's normal to look at beautiful art. It is normal to look at beautiful everything. And yes, these young women are beautiful. I refuse to accept that grown ass men don't know how to surreptitiously have a look at someone or something without making the person feel the gaze. They do it at work. I'm sure they do it in context where it's inappropriate to leer. Um, so every time a man is leering where we women can feel it, it is with intent. They want because they don't care or because they want us to know we are being leered at.
Right.
Every woman, probably every person, but particularly since we're talking in this case about all of this, we know when we are being looked at with admiration versus leering intent. It is not that hard to tell the difference, and it is not because of who's looking. Someone can say, like, well, if you liked the look at him, then it's a compliment. It's still different.
Right.
And um,
Can I uh, can I just interject and say,
yes,
as a dude, as a
yeah,
gay dude, I absolutely know how to check out somebody who I think is hot without alerting them to the fact. I'm quite adept at this age at leering at somebody that whose dick I want to suck versus, checking out a hot dude who just walked into the restaurant, like it is entirely possible to
yes,
control your ability to observe your surroundings in a non fucking schmucky way. Like it can be done. Take it
yes.
from me.
So that is my answer to the men who are like, you're just overreacting. It's normal for men to look. Like, look, it is okay to look. I get it. It is not okay to leer. And if you can't distinguish between those two acts, then don't look. Don't.
Right.
Just knock it off. But if you can, then you may look. I'm trying to decide how much of a story to tell. When obviously I'm raising daughters and they have had friends around them their whole lives, and so there was a crew of parents who I've known their whole lives, our kids' whole lives, and there's not a dad in the group who I feel uncomfortable uh, leaving my daughters alone with. All of those men, I am certain, are aware and can see as these girls have come of age, and they do push boundaries. It's very normal as a young woman is coming of age to be, especially right now, what's in fashion. It is highly sexualized. They're in shorts with this much of an inseam and tank tops to here, and I know that the men can see it, but there is they don't show it. I've never seen them glance at one of the girls and been like, "Oh, I don't like that." So it is something men can do. Um, and I think, yeah, I don't want to give the like, don't you have daughters? We women have value without it being your mother, daughter, or wife. But also, it is yeah, it's a distinction, and I think um, sometimes I wrote back to the men who left these comments and said something to this effect. Other times I just ignored them. But like, there is a difference between looking and leering.
Yeah. Yeah. Morgan said something above about rationalizing their pathology. And that is what it is. Like it's grown men who are rationalizing a behavior that is, um, socially unacceptable, and they know it's socially unacceptable, but they're addicted to it in a way, right? And
Do
so
you
they're
think they
trying to
know
make a
it?
justification.
Do you think they know it? I think
Yeah,
that
I
they.
do. I mean, certainly we could find plenty of examples of men who don't, right? But I think that by and large in modern American society, do most men or many men understand that like objectifying women and the male gaze, and the power that men still wield over women in terms of objectification and in our society? Yeah, men know that.
I think, excuse me, an awful lot of them think they are entitled to it. And when as I said, the very highest branches of leadership, our president, many others, um, publicly acknowledge it, legally are accused of and are convicted of doing the ultimate worst act that can
Right.
come from this. They're emboldened. They think that they are entitled.
Yeah, yes, I think that
Yeah.
is exactly right, and I think we could draw a direct line from this to the Epstein thing, right? Like,
Hmm.
talk about entitlement of male domination over women, male possession of women at girls at the youngest ages. That is absolutely the full-on pathology. That is, if you give men an unlimited amount of money and power, exactly what some of them will do with it. And right, Kat, exactly. To Harvey Weinstein, to P. Diddy, like, we are seeing many examples of this in our culture at the moment come to light. And it's disgusting, right? And it's not just straight men, right? If you look at the Catholic Church, unlimited power and money, right? In slightly a different flavor, and the way that enabled child abuse within the church, it's all the same thing. It
Yep.
Again, speaking as a man, I acknowledge I am sometimes ruled by my penis, but one of the things that you learn as a man is to
Yes.
not let the little brain take control of the big brain.
Yep.
And there are many, many men I know who are perfectly capable of controlling their, whatever urges we may be talking about. And I heard somebody the other day trying to kind of rationalize the difference between what Epstein was doing and true pedophilia. And
Oh,
I,
true
I,
pedophilia. Where's the age where that starts?
exactly right. Like,
Lawrence, there is a distinction, and I hear what people are saying there. There's a huge difference between molesting a 5-year-old and having sex with a 14 or 15-year-old. They both can do immense harm. The younger one for sure. Um, 14 and 15-year-old girls can be sexual beings. That's where the line gets with their same age peers. Appropriate. With grown-ass men, not appropriate. I do want to take a pause and acknowledge for the first time, you guys, I actually told like my friends on social media that we're doing this. And I want to say hi to Sherry Miami. Y'all, this is like a childhood best friend who is in the chat. Lawrence and I have known Sherry since we were 7 years old. So welcome to
I
the
have a
Daily
very,
Whatever.
very warm spot in my heart for Sherry. She was so kind to me at a time in my life when I really needed friends, and I will always, always adore her for that. And so, Sherry, welcome to our our weird little community here that we love and adore. And thank you for your support. It's so great to see you here.
It is, and I mean, Sherry and I were neighbors, and I'd say from age 7 to 13, we're kind of inseparable, and I would imagine Sherry has a lot of stories like this because I remember what, uh, Sherry was rather the swan to my ugly duckling, so I imagine that you have some crazy stories. It's Sherry Miami, for those who are looking in the chat. Sorry to put you on the spot here, but I was just so excited to see, a familiar name. Lawrence, here's a
Actually,
story.
before we jump back, can I say one more thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Beth Cruz was really trusting and vulnerable here in the chat and shared something with us
Yes.
that I just want to say, Beth, my heart breaks for you, and we're sending you so much love and hugs, and
Oh my God.
and
Yeah.
thanks
Oh,
for
Beth, I'm sorry.
trusting us to share something like that. And this is why we're talking about this, because this is so baked into our culture, and I don't know how we get beyond it if unless we're talking about it and calling it out and just, expressing our revulsion that
Yes.
that these kind of things happen.
And how to embolden and protect daughters. The story ends on a rather bold note of me being like, my kid's going to lead the way.
Right.
My kids will lead the way. And also, like, the way in the United States right now is really scary. Um, this is one of my earliest, well, it's not earliest maybe, but when I was at my very first job, Lawrence, I was a naive, like I kind of came a late bloomer. That's what I'm trying to say. I was kind of a late bloomer. I had my first job at 16. I was working at Swenson's Ice Cream. Do you remember that place next to the
Oh my
movie
God.
theater outside the mall? I was a cashier making $3.35 an hour, like super proud to be at my job. And there was a guy who came in, a peer, a teenager who I was excited came in. He had come by a couple times, and I was kind of like, "Ooh, this boy likes me." Don't even remember his name anymore, but he was talking to me at the cashier, and my male manager, who seemed very old, he was probably 35. I don't know. He was a man. Came up behind me like, "Hey, what are you guys talking about?" And um, the guy asked, "Hey, when do you get off tonight?" Because he wanted to take me out. And my boss behind him says, "Well, she's off work at 8," or something like, uh, "of work at 8, but then anytime after that she wants." And I didn't get it
Right.
because I was
We were late
a
bloomers.
child. Because I
Yeah.
was a child, Lawrence. I
Right.
was, not to say that 16-year-old girls are all children, but I was very inexperienced and naive, and yeah, his answer was she gets off whenever she wants, and, like, it was one of those flashbulb things that came back as an adult, and I was like, "My God, that was disgusting." I do feel like at work now, at least, there would be maybe some recourse. Hell, I coulda gone to HR and taken down Swenson's and never worked. No, I don't think I could have done that, but, um, those little microaggression, like, that was just a microaggression. It was more than micro, it was pretty gross, and it was overt. It wasn't just a look, but, I'm sure any woman on this chat has had so many moments like that past that you don't remember them. Sort of like, um the genesis of the story, like, I really would have forgotten that guy in the cafe in Fremont because that happens so many times. So many times when you're the mom of teenage daughters that you're just walking behind them and you're like, "Fuck." Like, you can't acknowledge every one of them or you'd go crazy and you would have no time to do anything else. I remembered it because the spark kind of came because of the juxtaposition of how unsafe that one little look felt, but how safe it felt to sit there with my daughters and watch hundreds of naked bodies go past us.
Hmm.
And that's one of the kind of meta points of the story is like sexuality, nudity, like these things are wonderful. I want my children to enjoy their bodies and um to be able to witness something like that with joy. But just the tiniest why does just the tiniest glance have the ability to be so unsettling? Because we know what can be behind it.
Absolutely.
Because we all we have all had that glance that goes further, me too, like, we all raised our hand during that movement and said, "Yeah," whether it progresses to someone had written earlier of, like, waiting tables and men grabbing their 16-year-old butts, like, yeah, that just normalized, right? Oh, good, Steve, I see Steve is in the chat. I know you're in Ireland, I'm very jealous. Steve, I think we met through this when I wrote this story on Medium, Steve. He has been a guest of the Daily Whatever before. 4 daughters in their early 20s, late teens to early 20s, and, yeah, I don't know if you have a comment you wanna weigh in here with Steve of, like, I I can only imagine as a feminist dad what it feels like too, like, I think you giving the stink eye to the guy would probably go further than me doing it.
Probably.
So it is wonderful that your daughters are being raised by dad like you. All young women should have a protective, kind, wise father like you. Most of us don't. My other earliest memory is just like my dad is a leerer, always has been, even now with dementia still is. And like there was never a drive when he wasn't, like rubbernecking like this. Anytime a woman walked past, it was just normal. And I am now hypersensitive to it. If I don't begrudge like a man I'm dating from looking at beautiful people with, they're going to look at women. It's normal. But when it's a leer, I know the difference and I see it and it's triggering. Sorry to use that word, but like it literally triggers memories of being younger, right? And being like, ew, why is my dad doing this? I didn't know how to ask that question, but it was just so gross. Morgan, my mom went right up and got in their grills, also in front of their families. Morgan, that explains a lot about you, and I'm glad to hear it. I would in different circumstances, but that was literally a micro moment zipping through a crowd. It would have been a stop, pivot, go find this person. Um, But what we haven't talked about yet that I hope came through in the nuance of the story is how strange it is to be going through it as I am at the tail end of it. And I'm not here shrieking like, "I'm so ugly, men never, ever, ever look at me." Um, but I'm in my 50s now. Men, it's just a fact. Um, it doesn't happen as often, and that comes with it is hard to explain this sort of miasma of emotions that comes with that of like, oh, there's some grief of like aging and beauty passing. There's an immense amount of relief of being like, if I pull my hair back and wear something baggy, like no one will look at me and I can be invisible. It's wonderful. Um, but the phrase that came to mind, it was in the original title, was that there's like a leering baton, like it's a relay race, and I'm handing it over to my kids of like, I've run my leg of this race that goes on forever and ever and ever, and now you, precious teen and teenagers, must take this baton. This isn't a legacy that I want to pass along, but it's like a sacred responsibility to try to impart as much wisdom and like safety as possible, while also hopefully having them come of age in a more confident and, knowledgeable way than I did. 'Cause no one talked to me about this stuff.
Right. As you were reading, there were quite a few people in the chat who were saying, nobody talked to me about this. Nobody talked to me about this. I wish I'd
Mhm.
heard this when I was, you know, that age. And some people who did, kind of get the speech from parents.
If you get anything, and most of us got this, it's don't wear that. Like, you'll look like a slut, don't wear that. Like, because it's our fault.
Right.
If it's all
Exactly.
on the women, you gotta cover up. Um, and I intentionally put in the part of my story of making my daughter cover up. And it is nuanced because it is because of where she was going, of like, you don't and there is God, there are a lot of layers to the story. I feel like I could talk about this one for hours because it took so long to write of, um, there's a time and place for how you present yourself, and also you don't always need to lead in this very hypersexualized way. This isn't it is a feminist act that you're allowed to, but it's not a feminist act that you feel like you have to. And that whole, I'm a feminist because there's some whores in this house, like, I hear what's empowering in it, but I feel like I come to it with this very eye-rolling Gen X sensibility of like, "Oh, cool, so you're doing exactly what the men want you to do.
Right,
How
right.
empowering."
You're owning your sexuality and playing into the biggest tropes of like male objectification of women. Congratulations.
Right, and I'm so conflicted about that song. When people sing it at karaoke, women sing it at karaoke, it's a riot. I would love to see a man take that one on at karaoke. That would be great. Um, but at the same time, I'm like, cool. This is it helping or is it doing harm? I don't I I don't have an answer for that. Both yes and no at the same time. Uh, I'm looking back up in here. I don't in the chat. I like Kat's comment here. It's weird getting old. I feel like a new person where my sexuality isn't leading the way anymore. It's a secret surprise when you get to know me. Yeah, and I'm unable to tell girls and women enough. Protect your drinks and always go in groups. That was such a like always never leave your girlfriends alone in a bar. Hell wait, like you come together, you leave together unless you expressly have a plan to not leave together. But yes, I need to talk about my kids. I need to talk about that with them more now that they're getting even older. Um, um,
Uh-oh. Are we being challenged to sing Wet Ass Pussy on karaoke? I'm not sure I love that.
um, wow, that would be something. I don't know the words well enough. I'd have to to practice that one. Um,
Honestly, I mean the words that I know are Wet Ass Pussy. I can jump in and sing the words.
yeah, the refrain.
Yeah.
I mostly know the refrain too about like putting myself through college with my wet ass pussy. Yeah, it's um, it's a hell of a song. I
It is
mean,
a hell of a song and it's catchy as fuck. And like props to them for writing something ballsy and with a billion hooks in it
get
because
a mop and a bucket for this wet ass pussy. Tristan's putting the lyrics in the. And Momster says that was my mom's one piece of advice: don't take a drink from someone you don't know. That's actually good advice.
great advice. Yeah.
Um,
Cats like my floors are real dirty.
yeah,
I feel like What I'm Supposed to is one of those songs that you can add a bunch of fake lyrics to.
people won't know, right? Um, yeah, you can't get too audacious in that song. I'm seeing some comments in here
Driving
about
my car to Burger King with this wet ass pussy.
you have to change all the words if you're challenged to sing it at our karaoke challenge.
Okay, yeah, I
Um,
will. I will change them all so they're gay for my
I
wet ass pussy.
oh my god. Yes. I know we're at time, but I wanna address one last part here. There are people weighing in with this sense of their mothers not protecting them, but, either, showcasing them or humiliating them, about, that it's like blaming them for all of these things. And I will say there were several people, women, in fact, who, when they read the original story on Medium, commented back that I was the one sexualizing and objectifying my daughter in writing this story and how I should be ashamed and how, et cetera, et cetera. Like, look at she like I was told, like, look, step back and look at what you've written and the language you're using about how your daughter looks and you're sexualizing her. I think there's a very big difference between acknowledging that your child is a sexual being and sexualizing them. Um, if anyone has thoughts on I know that I've read this to you, if they think there is a truth to that, I would be interested in hearing that from this crew. Kat, my mom would be pissed at your article, lightning rod for narcissist control freak. Yeah. Um, It
Yeah. And
That's what it felt like to me, that, you in no way objectified your daughter. That's absolutely ridiculous. It made me sad to see women weighing in like that, because I was like, I like to use the word nuance a lot because I think it's something that's really getting lost, and when I sit down to write a story like
the
this,
age of Trump is not an age of nuance.
it's certainly not. And when I'm doing the weave, when I'm weaving together these disparate parts into a narrative, they're by design and they're intentional, and every part is there for a reason. The song, the parade, the leering moment, um, the mentioning of how she's dressing for school. Like, this is a really complex ball of feminism for moms to reckon with now. Yeah, the way our moms parented was like, wear a slip, don't don't wear anything too suggestive at night. Maybe don't walk alone. And what did you do to make him do that to you? And that's not how I want to raise my daughters at all. I don't think that's how most of us want to raise our daughters. But in a world where we're not raising our sons well, uh, how how do we bring these daughters of age in a way that will empower and keep them safe? That's kind of the meta part here. I'm doing the best I can, but I'm always down with suggestion. Oh God, this is awful. My adoptive
Oh,
mom
God.
blamed me for being raped at 17. That's what happens when you hang out with boys. I am so sorry that happened to you. And Steve is saying women blame and shame women a lot. I have heard that women mostly do not get called on jury duty for rape cases, because women, it's a protective instinct that they don't want to believe it could happen to them, and so they tend to blame the victim far more than men.
Wow.
Thank you for saying it. Sounds like I'm doing an amazing job. I don't want to pat myself on the back too firmly, but um, I more want to start a cultural conversation and to tell other moms and dads, like, this is really hard. It is really hard. Yeah, that might be my ending note of, like, uh, it's challenging. It is only I only see this getting worse. That's my biggest fear, is that if the worst case scenario comes true, God forbid for my daughters, for any of our daughters, will there be recourse?
Right.
And I don't know that there would be right now in the US. And that feels like a huge step backwards for any of the gains that came from Me Too.
Oh, for sure. I
It
mean,
just led to a
losing
backlash.
Roe and this, manosphere, women should be subjugated bullshit. It's all giant steps backwards. It's insane. It's disgusting. We
Um,
really should all be in the streets every moment of every day protesting until this regime collapses, except that we have to fucking earn money to keep roofs over our heads, which feels like a fucking trap in late stage capitalism. So
it does
fuck
indeed.
everything.
Fuck everything. Um, I think we probably need to stop here. I'm gonna
We
have to
should
hop
wrap
off
up.
and go to a work thing. I so appreciate you all being here for this conversation. I would love if you would share this story. This is one that I really hope um, spreads. I would be completely fine if this hops the red pill wall. That tends to be when magic happens on Substack. Once it gets over the wall and the red pill guys start being like, but sputtering, women. Um, like I really would. I really. I think this one's important. Uh, it's important for all of us. It's important for all of our daughters and everyone coming after us, trying to make the world a better place for all of them. And yeah, I think that's all I got here, Lawrence. Other than to say thanks to everybody for being
Thanks,
here.
everyone.
Um,
Everyone go
and
block John Saxon. Keep that fucker out of our community.
yes,
Thank you for showing up here and for your comments and your vulnerability. And yeah, yeah. And join me tomorrow with Kat and Soso. Let's end on a happy note.
yes, I'm gonna miss you all. I'll be at the airport listening in, I hope. Um, listening, either that or is that gonna be while I'm on the plane? I think I'm gonna be no, I'll be at the airport, so I should be able to listen. I'll weigh in with lots of comments if I can, but you all are in very good hands with Kat and So on Wednesday, and then with Walter
Walter and Nick P
and
on Thursday.
wonderful, and thank you for the early birthday wishes. Friday is my birthday, and we will be here with the Halfway Cafe for Fucked Up Friday, not the
Fucked Up
Halfway Cafe.
Friday for Dana's
uh,
birthday. All
Um,
right. We love you,
we
everybody.
love you, mean it.
Mwah, mwah.
Bye.
Bye.